Hi, everybody, it's Grace. Welcome to Eating Peace this week. One thing that is very tricky and interesting, but profoundly mind opening when we're considering compulsion or activity or behavior that we've engaged in, like eating, under eating, overeating, controlled eating, all the crazy things we seem to have done with food and eating, which I certainly did, each and every one of them, the most crazy things you can ever think of. But one thing that when we've had that experience that's very normal, it seems, for the mind to begin to do is to have thoughts about the plans for the future. Here's what I need to do next. Here's what I'm going to do tomorrow. Here's what I'm going to do today. You can think of it in the morning. Right now it's early morning and I'm out on my front porch. I'm not in my kitchen. There's a lot of activity going on inside my house on this weekend. I'm in the middle of a 4-day retreat where people have come to do the work of Byron Katie, not specifically on eating issues, just to really consider and think about their thoughts and their perspective and wonder if it's true or not. Take it through this deep process. It's the same type of thing when you have this compulsion. I used to think all the time, I need to find the answer. I need to go seek and get it somewhere. I need to make a plan. I really like to have a plan. I want to have an action, steps that I'm going to be taking from now on, which is why it's such a relief in a way to follow a diet. You get a book and you get the sheets, or you might even get the meals, or what you need to count. So it's like you follow this framework and do this, and then you'll know you're staying in the boundaries. You've got a fence on either side, or you're staying in that lane. And that can be a remarkable relief if you've been totally out of control and feeling nuts when it comes to food or eating. You almost don't even know what to eat anymore. I always tell people when they ask me about food plans and diets, if you really, really feel like it's going to help you calm down for a few days or a little while, or you want to, be engaged in that for a bit, why not do it? I mean, we're all looking for peace. We're all looking for comfort and relaxation and calm. You don't have to fight against anything, including some kind of plan that's going to assist you or support you. And ultimately, I feel what I wanted and what many people seem to express at a deep, deep level within their own hearts and minds is that they want to be able to be comfortable with this present moment. I mean, so many of the thought leaders say that, and teachers and philosophies. How can I be comfortable with this present moment here? And the level of hunger or fullness or whatever's going on with food or eating or not happening with food or eating, my emotions, my experience of being alive in this world, in this present moment. And Byron Katie says this funny quote, funny as in it gives you a little chuckle. It certainly does me. If you want a future, if you want fear, get a future. Very interesting, right? Because in a way, when we decide to modify or run what we eat or what we do or manage in any area of our lives, there is some sense of success or failure. There isn't necessarily a trust, a fundamental, profound trust of what we're doing without any outside regulation. And I felt like that's always what I really wanted. I might have not even been able to articulate that's what I wanted, but I felt like I was born a human being in this world with the capacity to eat and then move about the world and watch, feel the fuel of food burning through me, eliminate. And that's all under the process of something else that is not me. I'm not in charge of that. If I just listen to what I've been given, like access a sense of comfort with hunger. Be aware of what the feeling in the body is and what it is from the huge variety offered of foods, what it is I need to eat, and to not be afraid of any of those foods. Fearless. It's like, how interesting, fearless eating. But that's what we do when we're children and babies. Oh my God, I don't know if if we're nursing or something, right? We have a bottle, we just have basic foods, we don't even have teeth yet. There's no concern for, is this the right thing? Should I be eating this or should I not be eating this? Should I stop eating it now? Should I start eating it? What time is it? Maybe I'll eat based on the clock. Wow, it's kind of late. I should be eating something. I might get hungry later. None of that is happening. And I know that's inherent in everybody, no matter how far down the road you've gone into thinking that you have no capacity to manage food. I have spoken with people who engage in some kind of learning about nutrition or diet or food plan, and it's extremely helpful. And they can carry that knowledge into the world and be spontaneous and be in the present moment. I once spoke with a woman who felt really heavy and overweight, and like that was hard, and she went to Weight Watchers long ago, long time ago. And she learned about vegetables for the first time in her life. She had just never, ever been offered vegetables in her childhood. She'd never eaten a single one. And she learned about eating them, and she just thought, how marvelous. It was like this delicious ways you could eat them. She thought she hated them. And she came away from that, adding those into her life, but not ever caring for the rest of her life about any of the rest of it. But it was a lovely learning experience. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Sometimes people feel, like I said, extreme relief about just landing and sitting and having somebody or a paper or a book tell you all is well, everything will be okay, here's what to do. But ultimately, you then want to have no future and be able to sit calmly in the present moment and experience what you need and what your desires are, and when you want to stop, and what part of eating seems to be the most difficult. Is it at the beginning what to eat? Is it in the middle of the meal? Is it at the end when it's time to stop and your stomach feels full? Are you in touch with that? Would you like to pay attention to it? When you are, when you fully feel like you can access and be with what is present, you don't overeat. There's no fear of undereating. Sometimes you're just going to get some more if you need some more food in a little bit. You're not going to suffer. Hunger isn't a sensation to suffer with. Neither is fullness and celebration of a feast. It's all going to balance out into kind of right timing and right action and right eating. And what I mean by that, by rightness, is just like trueness, sort of like the way we put something is in balance. So just consider that today as you wonder about food and eating, or if you felt despair, that to not have any plan, to not have any future whatsoever. We don't need to get thin later. We don't need to do something, to wait for happiness later. And that includes anything that's going on with food or eating. Just to be able to sit here in the present, feeling what it's like to take in some of the world, which is what eating is, when you actually consume it and it becomes part of your body, or not, if it's not the time for that. Eating will always happen again. It will always happen again until, of course, we're at the end of our life. Or I suppose if you have some sort of illness, maybe eating won't happen for a while, but then it will happen again, as long as you have a body. That's not of our concern. It's just feeling here in the present, the peace of this present moment, the support that we feel in this present moment. Fearless eating. Eating peace is fearless. It's guilt-free. It's fearless about what's going to happen next, what's going to happen later, whether or not people are going to like me, whether or not I'm going to think that I screwed up or not. It's fearless eating of anything. You can even try in this fear-free zone different foods that you think are bad and evil and just see if you actually like them or not, or just try a little taste for the fun of it. You do what feels most right and most supportive for you, ultimately. Even this that I'm saying, you may not feel like is the right way for you. So, whatever brings you into a fearless freedom about your day and about meals and about consuming, that's what we're exploring here with eating peace. True eating peace, thinking peace. You might have disrupted feelings. Can't necessarily say feeling peace nonstop all the time. We have feelings that happen, but have you ever noticed that even if you have an uncomfortable, troubling, or upset feeling, if you're really with it, you don't feel like eating. In fact, you don't feel like eating at all at that moment. You're more with the feeling, very sad, or very angry, or upset, and you can sort out what it is that's going on for you. But thinking peace about food and eating, about the future. You are safe. I am safe. I don't need a plan. Even if I have a plan, there's no way to control that I do that plan perfectly or that that's the way the world goes. There's kind of no way ultimately to really manage my own future, not in the way we're speaking of, where it must go my way. This is like a connection and contact with the world, which is what I've experienced as what food is. Really ultimate contact and connection with what is outside the body, becoming the body. So, practicing safety for today. Just say, if I was not afraid right now, if I felt what is safe here in this moment, in the presence of any kind of food or lack of food, hunger, fullness, no future, practicing the safety of no future. There is no future. There's just now, today. All right, let me know how it goes.